Hello, everyone.
I realized the
Hello.
everybody. Hello. I realized the hello. Thanks for coming out
Realized the
today.
hello.
We got it, everybody. We've got a
It's out.
song. We got a song out. Zali, I'm gonna be honest. You look way bigger than me. It's like I'm in the foreground and you're in the background. You're like El Titano Colossus or whatever it is from that one show.
I'm gonna fix that.
Just
My lord,
zoom me down a little bit. Yeah.
Like that. How about that?
Yeah. Hey, that'll do. Make sure you gotta bring me down. We're the same height.
The same height. All right.
But
there you go.
Yeah, something like that is fine. But yeah, the song is finally out. It's super surreal that it's finally out after we worked on it for so long. And
that's true. I couldn't listen to it at all.
Amazing.
Like I wanted to listen to it after it had been announced, but I lost the file. You know, I lost the file of the mixing, and I think just yesterday. Just yesterday, I asked Vox like, "Hey, do you have the file? I lost it, and I wanted the file, but apparently he lost it too."
Yeah, there's like one preview they sent us on Slack that but I would need to like open Slack to listen to it, and I didn't have like a download link or anything like that. So unfortunately, that was just how we were dealing with it. But it's really weird to have like a song to have worked on a song that I also want to loop, just for my own sake. It felt surreal to hear my own voice and be like, damn, this show's really good.
It is very good, and actually it's my first like sort of original song, so I don't know, it's special to me very much.
you man, so I guess to start with, something really interesting is like the whole process of getting picked to be a part of Encounter. It completely came out of nowhere. There's it was like during the first few Encounter songs were already out. I think it might have been around the time, like right after Shade was released, I suddenly just get a Slack ping. It's like, regarding your assignment to Encounter with Vezalius Bandage, and I was like, oh, because I had really wanted to be a part of it, but I would never have like imagined us being on it together. But I'm so glad we did. Our voices
was my
blend
best day ever.
Really, really well. Yeah, it's so cool. Tell me about how like what was that like for you when it got announced?
I mean, I was like, apparently there's a lot of Encounter going on, but I have never heard about it. Like I never got contacted about it. I was like, would I be selected? Maybe I don't know. I'm too new. I didn't know what to expect, if I could have something or not. And yeah, it came to me, and I was like, oh, yes! I wanted to be part of this. I was like, yes! I'm in. And it was with you on top of it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what it is, but I guess it's the the collaboration with some really kind of artists that are so high up there and who have done work with like some really high profile people. But like Encounters, these songs sound so genuinely good, like to the point where I wouldn't even think twice about playing these for like some of my normie friends and just not even telling them that like we worked on them or whatever it was, and just playing them like one of the other Encounter songs and being like, yeah, what do you guys think? This is pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, do you know like I work with these guys, and it's like, hey, this is my one, and they're like, oh, this is really good. And I wouldn't even bat an eye. I wouldn't. It's like, it's kind of a different vibe, definitely, to like the debut songs are very I think they're more so supposed to just be fun. Like they're really fun and exciting. It's just let's jump on in. But these Encounter is different, and it's really cool to get invited to be a part of that. Especially for me, who's like not been singing for very long, to be given a chance to prove myself on something like this was just a really cool opportunity. And I hope I get to keep doing stuff like this in the future as well.
Yeah, it have a really like serious vibe to it, to the song. What was it like? I think it was an artist that worked on a few K-pop groups songs, and not only, and gosh, us now.
And now us, yes.
And that's kind of crazy, like having someone to to write a song based on you. It's kind of based on us, right?
It is in a way, yeah. They wrote the lyrics based on us, and like what we've been through, and our kind of the story that we've been trying to tell, and all that sort of stuff. And for me, it was what I found really interesting was during the process of getting the music video made, staff were coming back and forth and asking for our feedback and stuff like that. And one thing that I found incredibly flattering really was that they said, we've based this part on some of your history, the use of the so in my scene in particular, the one that they sort of spoke to me about, the use of the albatross. They said this has a lot of symbolic meaning that's sort of related to related to your own story and a lot of what you've been through, and the petals falling off the rose representing loss, and the death of purity and all of that. And I just felt so flattered that they paid so much attention to what I've been doing, and it was really exciting. And I wonder as well, I imagine you probably had a pretty similar experience.
Yeah, I was like very happy, like I could see they did watch, they do know the whole backstory, and I could see again a few elements, like I could see some crystal. From my lore video, I could see the Lia's feather on the chair, That's, I was happy to see all these details incorporated in the discussion.
It'll always be something to me that's so bizarre, like this line of work, this career, especially working for Niji. I'll never truly get over how bizarre it is that it is such a huge corporation and it is such a huge industry, and yet all of it stems from encouraging the creativity of its members. And it'll, for example, when you're going to do something in 3D at the studio, and you'll have all of these people, these massive crews, and all these people helping out and doing all this stuff and all this crazy technology, and then they'll say, okay, so what do you want to do? And like on this as well, it's all just purely stems from what we've done, and then a song with these high-profile artists and all of these people kind of like communicating for us and organizing this massive project and stuff. But it still so heavily depends on what we want to do, and I'll never really get used to that personally.
That's great. Like they let you, let your creativity shine. It's a great place.
It is pretty great. Place. I feel very lucky, and now especially, but I always feel really, really lucky.
Do you have any like previous encounter that was your favorite or something?
Oh, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna be honest. I really like them all. I kind of feel like Weeby Union might be my favorite because like I don't know. We Union. We be onion. Like there's something. I think there's something about that vibe of song that really resonates with me. I think probably because my favorite debut song is probably Diamond City Lights. I think that I always really enjoy listening to uplifting songs, and I really enjoy. I think really, especially when it's like coming from people who are a part of Niji. There's something so nice about a song that feels like a celebration of togetherness, and that song is so cute and sweet and uplifting, and it reminds me of what I felt like when I first listened to Diamond City Lights. And I also first listened to that when I first realized that, I got hey, you got into Niji, and I was thinking about like my future and being a part of a community, and there's something really emotionally powerful to me about that. So Weeby Union kind of reminded me of what that felt like. As Solar Dawn as well, I think kind of carries a little bit of that feeling as well.
I see. Yeah, there's been a lot of great songs. My personal favorite is Shade, but honestly, it's hard to choose. Like, I love Solar Dawn.
Shade is really, really, really good.
Shade is kind of crazy because it never stops. Like, it's so charged. Like, the background voices, the lyrics, you cannot breathe. Like, it's over.
Yeah, there's no. And I like that, it's got a very creative structure.
I like it
there's
so much.
There's no ebb and flow. It's all just going all the time. And there was another one I was thinking of. I mean, also, I haven't had the opportunity to listen to the full song yet, but the preview for Boot It with Meloko and Ike, it sounds really good.
I really like this kind of vibes.
I love city pop so much, and that song sounds like an instant classic. I cannot wait to hear it, honestly.
I'm very, very excited too. Yeah, but I don't know. I like, for example, more kind of ballad song, like as well. The one from Petra and Reimu. I think I like it a lot as well. And the one from Doppio and Ren. I don't know. This one have something unique to me. I don't know. The beat on it is kind of like you're shaking your head. You're banging your head on this.
I need to take a minute to talk about. We all like Ren's singing ability goes without saying. We all know that he's one of the best singers on the planet. But Doppio, I love his singing voice so much, and I love how so much of his speaking voice carries over into his singing voice. It's like you can tell that he has more, I guess like myself, he has more of a history in voiceover than he does in singing, but like he really doesn't let that stop him, and he kind of allows that to come over. And I just love, like, especially in in Hold It Down, the amount of sauce he brings to all of his lines, and how he still has that Doppio-ness to his voice, and he doesn't feel like he needs to change it too much. Like for me, when I sing, I feel like I tend to kind of stretch a lot to suit whatever if it's a cover, like I'm trying to sound as much like the original as possible. But Doppio will always be Doppio, and I think that makes him really, really special.
I don't know. I have the same vibe from you. Like, for example, Heavy Lies the Head. I feel like you're the type of person that can, I don't know if it's easily or accurately, maybe is the more suited word, but you're able to put like emotion in your lines, your delivery, and it's very, very, you feel it, you feel it. It's very easy to track on, and
yeah. I mean, that's really sweet of you, and I really, really enjoyed it. And the recording session that I had, because I recorded for this song with not with the producers themselves, but with like one of the with one of the project managers while I was in Japan, and they were really, really helpful at kind of directing me a little bit and helping me understand what to do. And when it came to and I remember when I did the master, they were like, "Ooh,
oh yeah,"
and that felt really, really good.
That did, I didn't hear it when I recorded, but when I heard it, I was like, "Oh my god, you've done it."
I just kind of came out with that first try. I was like, how about this? And they were like, whoa, yeah, we want to do that. And that was really, really fun. But you as well, it's like, I really enjoy like how much the song, I mentioned, Shade, like that ebb and flow. I really like the ebb and flow with this song, because when you start out with my parts, that's very sort of somber and a little quiet in a sense, and then I think I love the transition when it cuts from me being more quiet and sort of with a deeper tone to you and I can't even replicate the way that you sound. You've got such a fantastic sort of like a higher tone with that, and it's so the way it's so much more belty and loud and more and like super expressive. I just love that transition, and I'll never really be able to get over it. It really feels like we both have a chance to shine, and I think maybe for me it's definitely nice to have a duet like this, because when I've been a part of sort of group songs before, I definitely kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes to the mix and the line distribution. Like, for me, my role in most songs for a long time was I'm doing the spoken word, and I'm also just very faintly in the background singing it an octave down. But now that I've been practicing a lot and feeling like I really have my own stuff to do in this song, I'm like,
you do.
It's very exciting, and I really love music, and I'm so happy I get to participate in stuff like this. It's kind of a dream come true, really.
Well, perfect transition. What was your first reaction when you heard about the pairing?
Heard about the pairing? I mean, like I said, I saw Encounter and I was like, who's it going to be? Vezalius. I was like, because I've loved I've loved the songs that you've done beforehand. Your covers sound really, really, really good. And I thought about it, you know, like me being the bass to the song, and you being, you know, sort of the higher pitch. But still, you do have a lot of bass in your voice as well. So it's, I think it's the right one to pick, because I remember the way they described the song. They didn't really tell me what genre it was, and I'm gonna be honest. I kind of don't even know how to describe what genre this song is. Like, I still don't really get it.
It's sort of EDM, I guess.
Kind of EDM, kind of something like that. Yeah, like the beat makes me think trap almost, but I know it's not that.
Yeah.
And
I thought the same thing. Like when I heard the instrumental for the first time, I thought it was a trap song. I was like, oh wow, I never sang something like that.
Yeah, it's super unique. But then, you know, when they I think the way they described it was they were like, oh, this is a song that accentuates the power of bass, and I was like, nice. And I think us two were definitely the right guys to pick for it. It was just it seemed like a match made in heaven, but one I never would have thought of for myself.
So I think it's such a good pairing, because I think like the song is able to highlight the very deep bass of yours, and the how do you say, the high, I don't know if you have a high notes, but my highest voice, I mean, I don't know, there are contrasts in those two voices that you know, doesn't cancel each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like we're both really able to shine, and it's even when we both have lyrics that we're singing at the same time, like you can still pretty distinctly make us both out. And it was really interesting to hear it come back after having done like the recording session, and to hear how it all sort of turned out in the end. I was just really, really impressed.
Yeah, that was great. I think my favorite part, I think you already talked about it, but my favorite part in the song is kind of like, yeah, like when I go, tell me who the king was the master, and
yeah,
the background voice is just so good.
Hello, I really like that part as well.
Thank you for the super, everyone. Thank you.
It's so cool. And you want to know something? I think my favorite part definitely has to be the final chorus when you go like that. When I heard them give us like the guides, you know, the sort of the initial sort of you know, the with the producers kind of just singing the song to let us know how it would be sung, and I thought, oh, Zali's gonna kill that, and then I heard the final version, and I was like, yep, he killed it. That sounds it's really, really, really good.
It was at my limit. I couldn't go any higher with my main voice.
Should we tell them, like, I remember early on, actually, we decided to kind of switch the key down a little bit. Because like I remember they let me know, and I was already like, I'd practiced it a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I reckon I can do this. But some of those parts in bass, I was like, man, this is getting really, really low. And then they let me know that, like, okay, you know, for Zali's parts, he's wondering if we could switch it down, maybe like to a -2, which is, you know, the version that you hear, the final version that you hear. And then when they said that, I was like, yep, I can do it. I can try. And in the end, it still turned out really, really well. It's just, yeah, I'm so glad they kind of wanted me to stretch the, you know, the low part of my voice, because I think it's so easy to overlook bass singers as I guess, you know, nailing high notes is always like, you know, a lot more outwardly impressive, but man, getting to those lower registers is really hard.
I found me that impressed me so much. The low voices, it's so unique. Like, honest, I mean, the low voice in particular, I feel like rather than the high notes, there are so much less people that be able to do that, you know? So I think it's even more impressive.
It's a really interesting thing, you know, range, and how you can learn to develop your range and stretch it, but, you know, you kind of just get born with a certain range. And also, I wonder, it's a really strange thing, like how everyone has a different voice. Do you ever think about that? How when we speak, everyone has a very, very distinct voice that sounds entirely unique, and I guess it's just to do with the structure of your vocal cords or whatever it is, but it's really, really, I guess there's so much about, you know, your, not only, you know, I guess the structure of your vocal cords, but also like the way that your experiences change, you know, the subtleties in your accent, your regional dialect, and all that sort of stuff. I always find that really interesting, and I wonder what, you know, what would it be like if I sounded different? It's kind of like a part of the character customization in life that you just don't have any control over. It just is going to be the way it is. Although vocal training obviously, you know, can work wonders for some.
I see. I
Like
remember when
exactly, chat. It's like
yeah, that's right. And when I got the instrumental, I think the first thing they asked me to do is to try which pitch would be the nice one for me. The nicest. I think that I had two candidates. Like I had the -4 and the -2. And the -4, I was able to, I don't know, I think -4 I could sing anything very comfortably, and 2 it was a bit reaching on the high notes. But at first I said the 4. Maybe that's the one they told you and it was a bit low. I don't know. Oh no, wait, maybe not, because the minus.
I think
at the end
they
did tell you -2, right?
They only ever let me know about -2. If they said -4, I might have said no. I might have been like, dude, -4 from the original one they gave us. So like, you know, I was already like really trying to get that on the original, and then -4 I would have been like. I would have had to start throat singing, but I mean, maybe that would have been really good too. Maybe that
I totally agree. Like, I really think like kind of getting out there, you know, on the high notes, was really the good choice to go to -2 instead of -4. You know, instead of going for the how should I say, the -4, it was easier for me like on the low part, and the high part was kind of like normal, you know, I could do it normally, and the -2 was really like reaching out for the high notes, and I think it sounded better that way. And anyway, you know, I kind of thought like the low part, you know, you got this, you know, you're the one. It doesn't matter, you know, if I do the low part well, is not my role in the song. So I think
you did do it all so well. We both did.
We did good.
Yeah,
I just think like they guided us well.
Still riding the wave of positivity, and it's been kind of unreal to see all the response to it, and just how much people like it. Because I don't know, there were like I think early on when I you know, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I mean, you know, I guess I always have much lower expectations for myself when it comes to singing, and so seeing people like so genuinely excited about it, I was like, yeah, even without like the whole, you know, the like the Oshi filter, where, you know, if you're a fan, if someone is your Oshi and they make anything, you're gonna wind up liking it. But even people who, you know, who don't have that filter were like, hey man, this is pretty good. It was really, really nice.
I don't know. I never really considered you as someone, you know, that cannot sing. For me, you always have been someone that can sing. You know, I've listened to your past arena songs as well, and when you participate in covers and stuff, like singing projects. I don't know. I always thought you sing good. I don't know why you're saying that of yourself.
I mean, that's really kind of you. I guess it's because I never really sort of practiced or trained before, and I also, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes to a lot of different things, it's difficult when you don't have the right amount of like expertise, I guess. Without a lot of practice, it can be difficult to know how to approach singing something. So whenever you've heard me, my strategy for singing is quite funny. I just get in my little booth and I start singing, and I will do like 10,000 takes of every single line, and I will do them. I'll do the whole thing in different octaves, and I'll do it in a totally different way every time. And so when you in the past, when you've heard me as a part of a cover or part of a debut song, you have heard the result of many hours of trial and error. And it's I don't know why. Like whenever I sing a line, it never really sounds perfect to me. And even when we were recording for this song, I was always like, oh no, can I do that one again? Can I do it again? Can I do it again? And they're like, I don't know, we don't have the most time in the world, but they were still very accommodating to me doing it a bunch of times, and I'm glad they did let me do it.
But you know, if you can like I mean, even if you do a lot of takes, at the end you was able to do it, and that just shows, you know, that you have the potential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. I really want to. The most fun thing about learning to sing for me has been, yeah. I imagine you might have had this too. Like when you first started learning, is like when you're you're trying to learn how to do a certain thing when you're singing, and then suddenly you do it right, and you're like, wait a minute. Oh wait, wait, that's how it works? And then suddenly you can just do it. It's like you've unlocked a new power or a talent tree in a video game. Like when I figured out how to do mixed voice recently, because I think that was my biggest issue singing as a bass singer. That was my biggest issue for a long time, was like singing way too deep into chest voice. And when you do that, it has the potential to sound quite flat. But if you manage to bring it out with chest voice, it works. And I could never figure it out because all the tutorials online are like, just try and sing somewhere between the roof of your mouth and the bottom of your throat. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? And then suddenly I like really stopped thinking so hard about it. And I was like, oh wait, that does make sense. Wait, I did it. Holy shit. And then you just have like a new thing you can do.
I had something like that too. Like whenever I was trying to learn how to growl, I just watch a video as I was like, just like try to, when you clear your throat is basically what you need to do. Like you need and then you can actually start to know how to growl, and it was a revelation for me. I just could do it.
It's sometimes, or for me recently, the biggest one that I feel stupid for not like figuring out sooner is breathing through the diaphragm rather than the chest. And I learned that while I was recording for Encounter, while I was in Japan, because they were like, okay, listen, why don't you try breathing in like you're trying to put the air in your stomach? And I was like, okay. And it really hurt to do the first few times, but then after I did it a little bit, I realized, wait a minute, this is like so much easier. I can hold notes for so much longer now. And then I thought back to my 3D with all of that, and I was like, man, I'd been breathing in through my chest this whole time. I genuinely thought, like, man, when I'm in this little body, like, do I just have like less than average lung capacity? Is that just who I am as a person? Is that genetics or something? Am I just doomed? And then I was like, no, it's all in the technique. It's all in the diaphragm. I was like, shit, well, I can do that now. And I guess if there's one thing I like that feels kind of frustrating to me, and it's not as though like I'm really happy with how the song turned out, but I felt like from recording it, I felt like I learned so much. I wish I could go back and do it again. I wish I had the opportunity. It's like I feel like I've kind of leveled up recently, and I want to be able to sort of go back and give it another try or something like that. Even though it still turned out amazing, it's like I almost feel like I could do better in a way. But it's still brilliant, and
that's gonna be for another song.
About as fantastic as it ever could have turned out.
They made me do the same thing. Like it was the first time actually they made me stand up and sing, and it was so much easier. It was so much easier for me as well. So I swear, like now I'm gonna just stand.
Normally sit down.
Yeah, I usually sit down too, but I don't know. I was more comfortable doing it standing up. So even now, whenever I do a karaoke, I'm trying to stand up and recording as well. So yeah, that's a new improvement for me as well.
Sit down. Standing up makes like a really big difference when it comes to being able to project and that sort of stuff. And a lot of the time I kind of choose to stand really, for the vast majority of really any stream that's been like intense. Like whenever I've done a karaoke stream, I've done so stood up and all that sort of stuff. It just feels a lot more organic and natural. But I also don't really blame you because, there have been a lot of times when it just feels like it's a lot easier to be sat down, but it's so great to just try something new and then realize how much easier something is when you sort of go through, like you learn that next little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, it's like something I'm curious about. If I remember correctly, like when I recorded, the start of the song, like what you want. Yeah. This part, right? Does that make you record the second part? Or did you already recorded it?
I think the second part they might have just used different takes from me recording for the first part, possibly. Because I would have recorded a bunch of times. Yeah. Because
actually, to start with, the lyrics was like, what you want from Vox, and what you want from me, and then Chaos. But the thing is, when I heard the first mix of this version, it was like super deep and cool, what you want, and then me like super happy or whatever, saying what you want, and the vibe was so off. I was like,
No, yeah, I mean, you still sounded great, but it was the kind of thing where you had my voice being like super super low, and then in order to kind of make it, since it's both the same line, like bringing it down, I think they had to kind of pitch shift your voice down by quite a bit. But it's really interesting to see how it developed like that. And I wonder if maybe if we did wind up doing it in the original key, maybe that might have been a little different. But who knows?
I don't know, but
I get why they made the change. But I think he still sounded great in that part, to be honest.
Thank you. But I'm happy with this one. I was like, I wanna take this again or change it, and they did change it, so I was happy.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. What you want? 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 What you want?
What you want?
Yes.
Yeah, thrive in the dark, so who want? What you want? What you want? What you want?
Chaos. Yes. The chaos was me. Yeah, that was this part that changed.
So, yeah, I'm not really sure.
We have artwork to look at.
Oh, yeah. Let's look at the artwork. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, here we go. Boom. Oh, I think I froze.
Nani? Nani?
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, what's going on? Alright, boom. First this.
Boom.
Thumbnail
Boom.
drop. Ooh, this is cool.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I don't know.
The outfits are so cool. It's like, I mean, I hesitate to say it. They do seem very European.
Well, it's got a Victorian vibe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, or if not Victorian, then sort of old kind of classical era French as well. I think would suit this as well. Maybe French Revolution kind of vibes. I think makes a lot of sense for this outfit.
Could be.
And I like that. We were talking about this before we went live, but it's like you and I were such a great pairing, not just because of the way our voices blend, but also because we happen to be from the two by far most clowned on nationalities worldwide, and we just need to stick up for ourselves a little bit.
That's like, right.
I don't mind getting made fun of. I know the UK certainly has a checkered history, but we do a lot of good things too. There's a lot of cool stuff, especially I tell people all the time. So many of your favorite songs came from the UK, right? If you like disco of any kind, you've probably gone crazy listening to British music before, and you probably didn't even know.
There's so much good things coming from France as well.
Right?
I cannot say them right now, but I'm sure there is. Look it up.
Look it up, exactly. I mean,
look it up.
What was it they said in Ratatouille? The best food in the world comes from France. The best food in France comes from Paris, and the best food in Paris comes from Monsieur Gusteau.
I'm just saying Paris good.
French food is, everybody loves to chat shit about the French, but everybody was going on about last year. Everybody was going on about croissant. Where do you think croissant comes from? Croissant.
Paris.
Where do you think that comes from? Comes from France. You don't have croissant without France.
That's right. Like you making weird shit like croffle or cross onigiri. I don't know, but that's coming from France. You have all of that because of us.
Exactly. So. just remember, guys. We needed to do our duty to our homelands a little bit with this song. Heavy lies the head that wears the crown. After all, so much to enjoy about where we live or where we're from, but at the expense of getting clowned on all the time. Heavy lies the head that wears the crown, as they say.
That's right. The number 1, number 2 worldwide being fun off. Our head is heavy now, guys.
My head feeling heavy as hell right now. I don't know what's going on.
All right.
Your head. That head looks heavy, King. Allow me to carry it for you.
Let me carry your crown for you. You wear on us, on your shoulder. All right. Let's take a look at the arts. So first things first. Boom. This one.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, I'm just chilling with a flower. You have much to say about it. I look cool. The outfit, like this artist in particular, kind of, you can see kind of they kind of like to draw kind of puffy-ish, very oversized clothes, look very comfy. Okay, wait, I'm gonna move it a bit on the side so they can see. So here you can oh well, whatever. As you can see, I'm just dining, chilling, not crying, as you can see on my face, on a table for two. And why that, everyone? I mean, I'm not happy either. I don't look happy either.
No.
But there are little white flowers you can see on the table. What does white flower represent?
I'd hazard a guess to say purity, perhaps.
Purity, or you know, when you have someone dead, maybe. I think it's related.
Grief, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes to this. Dong. Boom. Change of vibe. I kind of like it's the same composition, but it just become dark out of nowhere. And the little detail I like is the little feather on the chair over there. Like you understand everything, you know? And the flowers just become the cause of, you know, Leah's death. So it's kind of like the crystals, and you can see at the background like the meteor falling onto the, you know, from the sky to the ears. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's cool. You can see like
it's very inspired.
It's kind of like the little detail over there I want you to look at is this. As you can see, you have the watch, the clock on the top left. Boom, it's broken. So it's kind of like, you know, ever since that time, my time have stopped as well, you know. I like it very much. Very, very emo. I like it. That's right. Do you want to talk about yours too?
Yeah. I'll talk about mine. All
right. Here we go. Boom.
Okay. So first of all, hey, handsome. Really love the way they drew me here, and something something really interesting here. So of course, we have. I really like the contrast that this draws. I think when it comes to my my sort of history and my journey as a member of NIJISANJI, and how much I've kind of changed, I think, or how much I've changed the way that I want to do things over time. So this first one, it kind of has the what's the right word? It has sort of echoes of the way that my career first started, where I feel like my whole vibe was, you know, I wanted to be, I was kind of marketed and sold to people as this sort of super suave gentleman. I've got a flower, and this, you know, the red flower, red sort of comes with, you know, the passion, love, and all of that sort of stuff. But obviously red carries a lot of very interesting darker connotations as well. And something I really want to point out. Something I really want to point out before the thing is that there is a very interesting meaning behind the bird here that becomes more apparent in the alternative version, but there is an interesting story behind this bird that I think is really interesting. So this is my balcony, right? I live in an apartment quite you know rather high up, and I have a balcony that I can use to overlook the city. And one day, a couple years ago, I was playing Fall Guys, and I hop on stream and I say, guys, there's a pigeon on my balcony. I'm scared. Because I've never been pecked by a bird before, and I didn't really have any frame of reference for how painful it would be if a bird like fully went for me and tried to like peck my hand. And I was like, I don't know, I want to get him out of here. And I tried shooing him, but he couldn't figure out how to jump down. He couldn't figure out how to get over the railing, so he just kept flapping at the kind of the balcony railing, and then would flap a little bit, realize he wasn't going anywhere, and then just sit back down. And I was like, oh god, I've got to get rid of him. I have to, because he's gonna shit everywhere if I don't do it. Okay. And then I just kept running back and forth between stream and saying like, guys, what do I do? And then eventually I found a chainmail glove that I had bought for my night ASMR, and then I wore that on one hand, and I grabbed him and I chopped him over the edge, and I watched as he very slowly glided all the way down and turned around and floated straight onto someone else's balcony. So I was like, okay, that's someone else's problem now.
No.
And here he is. Here the pigeon is. I mean, in this, it's not actually a pigeon, but people have kind of made that connection. And I'm officially saying that, yeah, it's canon in this music video that is the pigeon that keeps haunting me. And perhaps that pigeon represents something. Maybe the soul of someone I've wronged disappeared, perhaps not into me, but into that pigeon instead. And he was around, inums the souls of dead sailors and all of that.
I hope that the other neighbor have a chainmail gloves as well.
Exactly. But why don't we take a look at the alternative version?
All right, let's take a look. Boom.
So it's very nice. So now the rose is withered, and it kind of represents I think kind of the loss of intimacy, but also the loss of connection. You know, the way in which when I'm at my best, how I can be very easily connected with human beings, and how I find them to be, I find myself so enraptured with them, but how as the cycle goes, I will always find some way of ruining everything. And, the rose withering, I think, represents that cycle in a way. And now the pigeon the pigeon is gone. I like to imagine that the pigeon in the first one is it kind of represents almost, it's harmless, but it's like an omen. It's that something worse is coming. And then in this in the background, this is not in fact a pigeon. This is an albatross, referencing Gustave Doré's illustration, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So what the albatross is, what's interesting is it's originally supposed to symbolize luck, but I think that what's really interesting about this is that it also carries a metaphor for shame and of guilt. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, of course, being a poem with many themes like this. So what I think is really interesting is sort of the double meaning there, where yes, I feel very lucky, and my fans always say they feel very lucky to have met me, but for me, sort of connection with human beings always carries like a tremendous amount of risk. And I think that luck, in a sense, also means, yes, I happen to have wandered into just the right career where I can have relationships with people without putting them in danger, but also it doesn't mean that shame is, has gone anywhere. It's still very much with me. And and what I also like, and it's the same as on my my outfit for Overture, is the jagged horns that I had when I had my transformation last year are still there, even though I'm in sort of a more ordinary, more human body. And for me, I think what I want to represent with this, and I mentioned this about my Overture outfit as well, but also about this one, is that I think I want it to represent like a certain degree of acceptance, where I may not be under the illusion that everything that I've done in the past is completely okay, but also to an extent that to where I need to accept that there comes a point where I need to embrace who I am. And I can't be afraid of what this is. And so having those, and those horns are very special, because whenever transforming, they only come out like that if I'm extremely in a state of extreme stress or panic. If I'm very calm and reserved, then they come out much smoother, like in my second outfit. So these kind of wearing them proudly, I think, represents something very good, and sort of understanding that the low points and the guilt, but also what I am capable of doing well because of how different I am. That's something I need to learn to be proud of, and I think that's what those represent for me. So I was really, really happy that they wanted to take so much inspiration from who I am and what I've been through, and for yourself as well. It's just very fascinating that all of that goes into such an interesting illustration, and something they wanted to pay that much attention to. When these songs are getting made fast, they've got to work hard on these, but they still took the time to make sure they made it special, and they made it work for us, and that's really, really important.
Damn, as deep as your voice. I kind of like how the Like I really like how the wing, as you're saying, like is kind of like a shadow. That's cool.
Yes. Gosh, I forgot to mention that. I was so busy focused on the other stuff, but of course, yeah, that's yet another reminder of, you know, everything that's lurking inside. So don't, you know, every time you think, guys, oh, maybe I can trust this guy. I don't know. Just remember to be skeptical, no matter who it is that you find, no matter who that suave gentleman is. You never know what someone's real intentions might be. You know, you never know what might be lurking in the shadows behind them. So just look out for yourself, all right? Remember what they said in that League of Legends song? Look out for yourself.
Look out for yourself. That's true. Well, I wanted to see something. Like, oh, it's just the time that changes on the clock. I see. Okay. Well, all of those beautiful arts are made by Marikin Sensei. Thank you very much for joining us with so much detail in here. Very beautiful.
So much detail. Yeah, brilliant artwork, and seeing us both back to back like that. I love that pose with the hand, the little, you know, like bringing that out. It carries so much power. I enjoy that very, very much. I just think it's so brilliant.
That's great. Definitely. How about we talk lyrics too?
We talk what, sorry?
Lyrics as well.
Lyrics. Yeah. Let's talk lyrics. Let
me open the lyrics somewhere. Well, I don't see if we're showing on stream, but where is it? Well, it kind of feel like really like people with a lot of responsibility, people that carry a lot, you know. I guess it's kind of vibe overall.
Yeah, I mean, heavy lies the head. Obviously, you know, it's a classic saying, or either it's heavy lies the head or it's uneasy lies the head. It's that with great, you know, it's like Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. Although it's less so about responsibility and more so about, you know, how. Really, the higher you rise and the more you succeed, the higher people's expectations become and the more responsibility that you have. And as a result, that, you know, to have, it really does mean to have great power is to have great responsibility. And if you want to achieve great things in life, you need to be prepared to sacrifice, you know, a lot. And that, I think, is what the song is really all about. At least for me. You've got the sort of the opening lyrics. Well, it's let me taking what I need, living sin, I'm living greed, do it how I know. Living life half asleep, cause the world's going crazy over numbers. It's like basically what that is supposed to be about. Obviously, it's that is our career. That's the world that we have found ourselves living in, and it's really interesting to sort of think about it in that way, because obviously we have succeeded so much and we've had, you know, some crazy numbers on projects that we've done over the years, and to think about, you know, people's obsession with that. I almost, in my mind, I feel like I've kind of, even though I used to worry about that kind of thing, I feel like I've kind of succeeded so much that I almost feel like I'm past it now, you know? Like I kind of don't really know how much more I could top myself with regards to that. So I feel like my priorities as a person have changed. I'm not really interested in pursuing, you know, huge numbers or anything. I feel like, you know, it's art that really appeals to me now. And I think that these lyrics kind of speak to how, while the rat race is going on and while, you know, so many people will not only will people kind of sacrifice huge parts of themselves, like I did, you know, a long time ago, sacrifice a huge part of yourself in order to achieve, you know, in order to achieve those big numbers. But I think a lot of people out there will do some pretty shady stuff to try and get there. It's, you know, the world's going crazy over numbers is that, you know, people will do anything not even if it comes without any financial reward. I mean, you know, we've seen how social media just completely turns people into these
true.
nasty people because they just can't help themselves. They keep, you know, tearing each other apart, looking for that validation, looking for that dopamine hit, and it feels you know, that to me feels like that's the crown I'm very privileged to wear, in a sense, is that I feel kind of unaffected by that at this point. And I think that's, you know, it's really interesting to have that lyric as something that goes beyond that. And really, I think what this song, from that, to me, it's about, regardless of, you know, the way that you're perceived, regardless of, you know, the way that people might try to construct narratives about you, it's that the crown belongs to people who who have command of their own destiny, in a sense. When you are fully in control of what it is that you want to do with your life and what it is you want to do with your platform, then that is the crown that you carry. And it's almost in a sense that, you know, that to me brings comfort. And heavy lies the head might have multiple meanings. Heavy lies the head can mean that it's that your head, you know, it lies disturbed, and that you kind of, you know, uneasy lies the head means, oh, with all this responsibility, with all this power, I don't know how I can live up to this responsibility. But also, heavy lies the head might just mean that it rests heavily upon the pillow. Perhaps I'm just chilling out, you know, living life half asleep. My head lies heavy on the pillow.
I really feel like you're the only
doing
one.
Whatever it is.
You're the only one to know this kind of words. Like, heavy lies the head is the first time I ever heard that saying.
Really? I remember heavy lies the head. I'm trying to remember what the origin of it. Oh, this is interesting. Heavy lies the crown. So, so according to Wikipedia, it is a misquote of the line "Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown." From, I knew it was Shakespeare from Henry IV, Part 2. I knew it was Shakespeare, but I wasn't actually 100% sure which Shakespeare it was.
So uneasy lies the head is the original.
Uneasy lies the head. The idea that obviously in Shakespeare there's a lot of in a lot of Shakespeare plays, or at least his tragedies, there's plenty of political intrigue. There's plenty of sort of strife and worry for the kings and queens in his stories. And so what you can have there is, you know, if you have power, inevitably someone will try to take it from you.
I see. Oh, very interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah, there's so much to learn about this stuff, and I always find it really interesting because I'd heard it a long time ago, but I hadn't really thought about that expression too much. And then, you know, hearing that we had a song based on it, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
That is definitely cool, yeah. That's kind of funny, like how you can relate with our job on this. That's cool.
Yeah, it's always interesting because how seriously can you really take being a fucking streamer as a job? You know, it's like, it feels, it's so weird because, you know, being a YouTuber, it's such like a strange thing, but people really take this career incredibly seriously, and you know, it makes sense because it's I believe there was a survey done recently, and maybe it's different now. Maybe it's more like a Twitch streamer or a TikToker or whatever, but there was a time when 40% of young people said that they wanted that their lifelong career aspiration was to be a YouTuber.
That's crazy.
And I guess in a sense, if you get to do that as a job at all, you know, that's definitely a crown to wear as well. To have a career that so many people are desperate to have.
That's how much, you know, the first YouTubers actually inspired others for that job.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely, God, it feels like it's changed. It feels like it's changed so much. But then I imagine maybe if we went back and experienced what YouTube was like back in the early days, I imagine when you and I might have had an interest in getting started on it, maybe we would realize, like, maybe things weren't so good the whole time. It always feels like things are at their worst at present moment, and then the moment you move on from that, you kind of get nostalgic for whatever it turned out to be that came before.
Definitely. Like, I think this part of the lyrics, like, reminds me of everyone, you know, trying their best, like, the one keeping dancing, keeping prancing.
Keep on
so distracting.
Dancing. Keep on dancing. Yeah.
That was your part,
so
right? That was cool. I like this one too.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I knew everyone was gonna like that part. But keep on dancing, keep on prancing. I guess sort of what that would probably mean to me as well. I like what you sort of, because I guess it's kind of like a perversion of some of the ways that that I felt about content creation in a sense, because when you do this job, you need to essentially become like the jester. You are here to sell aspects of yourself in order to survive, really. And it can be, and with minimal regulation, you know. I come from a time when celebrity and radio had such incredible kind of, you know, they were very much bound by the rule of law in a way that YouTubers really aren't. I mean, something that's always like shocking to me is the way that a lot of streamers will, you know, fair use is a thing in, you know, obviously in the West, but some people will just flagrantly fly in the face of copyright law with absolutely zero consideration for what that means and how important it is. And then when consequences show up, some people do abuse the copyright system, but then some other people, like, you know, going on your first stream on Kick or whatever it is and streaming the entirety of The Dark Knight to your audience. And I'm like, bro, suddenly surprised when people don't allow you to do that. And so I think what's really, when people are willing to go that far, and when, you know, obviously if you're streaming The Dark Knight to your entire audience, yeah, you're probably going to get some pretty crazy viewership from that. So where is the line? Where do you stop? And when there is no line, when people can go as far as they want in pursuit of content, they're, you know, no matter let me try and think of what I'm trying to say here. Basically, there's no limit to how much you can make a fool out of yourself. So the whole keep on dancing, keep on prancing, I really think that it has to do with what this job means for, you know, your soul, and how it feels to kind of hold on to your humanity when every single financial and personal incentive is saying, hey, you need to abandon any idea that you're a real person with boundaries. Like, that doesn't exist anymore, and you will find so much more success if you forget about all of that.
It's like the, you know, taking what I need, living greed.
Exactly. Yeah, no, in a big way, yes. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong for people to be really tempted by that greed in a way, because the amount of success you can find on these platforms just for playing video games is ridiculous. So, you know, it makes sense, and I don't blame people. Although obviously some people need to learn where the line is, definitely, but some people will never learn, unfortunately. So until then, you know, keep on dancing, keep on prancing. It's so distracting.
That's a great part.
What about you? Do any of the lyrics kind of have like a strong meaning to you as well?
Yeah, I think it's mainly the same as you. It's kind of like, for me, I more have it interpreted like, how should I say? Like, I've made it up there, but up there, where I went, it's not easy, you know? We have our own thing to deal with. Like, there's a weight on our shoulder that cannot wear off. It's kind of how I interpret this. Like, I think, you know, there's a saying, not my words, but like, for example, you know, in the forest, there's a lot of trees, and the wind blows hard, you know, but the taller the tree is, you know, the more wind you're gonna get in your face. But the big trees doesn't fall down because they have a big trunk, and only small trees actually, you know, breaks. And kind of make me think of this saying, you know, like,
that's fascinating. I actually hadn't heard of that, but that's a very powerful visual metaphor, I think. And I think something that a lot of people don't really consider. You know, when you reach that level, yeah, you're getting when a tree grows that tall, yeah, it's getting most of the sunlight, and it's you know, sort of, I imagine the smaller trees might look at it with a sense of envy, but when the wind comes, it's going to be the hardest for you. You're definitely, and as well, rising above the trees, especially in our case, you're the most exposed. People can see you a lot more clearly, and it's a lot harder to hide the imperfections in your bark. Any snapped twigs or branches are going to look really obvious when compared to another tree that might be able to hide them a lot more easily. And I guess in a sense that forces you to confront things about yourself. That's a really interesting saying. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, you know, like, I guess, you know, people in opposition that are publicly out in social media, we're gonna catch a lot of wind, you know, but I guess, you know, we're not breaking.
Yeah, it's true. And
the more high we go.
Reminds me of how your the little joke you made on debut kind of keeps getting trotted out on Twitter every now and again, and people call it cringe. When I think it's hilarious personally. When I think that was a really good. I think it was very funny. I mean, I remember looking at that and I was like, all right, bro, those letters are not even close to each other on the keyboard, but. I also understand like what you must have been feeling when first joining. It's like, you know, you want to fit in, you want to live up to the expectation. And I definitely from, you know, my early career would have set the bar in terms of what, you know, what people will do when it comes to fan service. So I don't blame you for trying to reach that. It's just, it is very funny to see every once in a while people kind of trot that out. And they're like, look at this shit.
Until this day, it's still living in their head.
That's it. Heavy lies the head that wears a crown. I mean, you know, you will have gotten like a load of attention off of that, but obviously what is attention if it's for that? What? It's such a shame because you've had like, you know, you're such an incredible singer and, you know, such a delightful personality, but, you know, they'll just keep looking at that and being like, man, look at this bondage joke, and that's it. So again,
I don't know. Until these days, I still think it's funny, and like
it is funny I think at the end of the day, isn't it?
You know, it have helped me filter out people that not having my humor, and that's it. You know.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think that's good, and it's another thing that's kind of difficult to get used to is that, you know, before your tree is grown past the others, you kind of don't really think about how difficult it is to please everybody, and how much I think it's sort of human nature to have a desire to please everybody. You know, when you see an outspoken vocal minority of people who dislike you or maybe don't like what you have to say, it can feel very overwhelming because we're, you know, human beings have not evolved to cope with fame yet. It's not something that's in our DNA. So what's really interesting about that is I imagine in, you know, a smaller tight-knit community setting, which is how human beings would have evolved normally, it would make a lot more sense to have a negativity bias. It would make a lot more sense to listen to negativity and say, okay, if something's wrong, we have to fix it for the good of the tribe or whatever it is. But nowadays, you know, especially when your opinions are exposed to so many people, and really, even if you're not in a, you know, a really good position like we are, you could just be any old Twitter user who makes a tweet, and then it could just hit the algorithm and suddenly hundreds of thousands of people are seeing it, and that can have a really disastrous effect on people. You know, again, that's any true. Amount of success will always come with risk and with fear. As we say, heavy lies the head that wears the crown.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely how I see this song, and I think it's very fitting for us.
It's very fitting. I love what they did with that. I think it's fantastic.
And I guess I don't know. I guess that's what we wanted to talk about today.
I guess so. Yeah, I just wanted to celebrate, you know, a really fantastic song and to get to chat with everybody. But thanks for letting me ramble a lot to it.
Of course.
You know, all this stuff is super meaningful. I think especially as, you know, someone who's wanted to get into singing for a while, and I really do think that even though I know, like, you know, everyone's been so flattering about like how much I've grown as a singer, I still feel like I have a long way to go. But I think at this point, I know that I just really love music, and I've always loved music, and it feels like kind of a no-brainer that I would want to get into music eventually. And I'm so glad that when the time came and when I decided like this is something I really wanted to do, that everyone around me decided to support me so much, and that I got to take part in these incredible projects, and that I got to do all of this fantastic stuff. I couldn't have had, from taking that leap of faith, I could not have had a softer landing, and I owe it to you. I owe it to my lovely NIJI members. I know it to the staff at NIJI for embracing that. And it's funny because I remember during AR Live, or while we were rehearsing for AR Live back then.
Yeah.
I had this moment where I was like watching the others perform. And I sort of thought, God, it feels, because during AR Live, I was the only one who kind of didn't have a solo or a duet. I was only in the group songs, and I kind of and I was happy to be a part of it and to support everybody. But I did kind of get this fire lit in me of like, I really want to be able to do this. You know, I don't want to let go of feeling like I'll be able to do this one day. And I think particularly it was watching I could do Maze and Shu do Shanti, like the choreography for those I thought was so crazy, and the singing was so crazy, and I just thought I really want to be able to do this. And I sent, and it feels kind of unprofessional now, but I sent a message to my manager and I was like, I don't know, I feel quite sad, and I'd really love to get to do something like this. And they've, I don't know, they've really given me a chance to prove that I'm able to do that. And it's, you know, I don't want anyone to feel like they don't really look after us, because when I've had issues, when I've had things that I want to change, they've always listened, and it feels like I'm really well taken care of. So
that's great.
It's a wonderful place to be, and I feel so proud, and I feel so happy and so grateful that I have the chance to do all this stuff. And if I, you know, just keep doing it, then maybe one day I'll listen to my own voice and I'll be like, you know what, I think I can sing pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I think it's absolutely normal, like, for anyone to feel like, is there a next level, you know, after? Even I do, I don't know, even the best thing I think do. There's always the next level, there's always someone better than us, but the, you know, the how do you say, the motivation to continue and to try to get there, you know, even though you know they're better than you. Maybe the people have more talent, you know, like that's the thing too, but still wanting to go into the action, I think is the most important thing, and that's great that you're able to do that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. From someone of your talent, it's great to get to learn alongside someone like you, and I hope we keep learning a lot and keep improving, and it's gonna be so cool, and I can't wait to do more stuff.
That's right. Well, shall we end here for today? I hope everyone,
I think so.
Yeah, enjoys this after party, and enjoy the song, which is, you know, on top of everything.
Enjoy the song. Heavy Lies the Head is now out on YouTube and on streaming platforms around the world. Watch it, listen to it, whatever it is. Let's get those numbers up, guys.
Stream it.
Embrace your inner K-pop stan. Start streaming it on 17 different Spotify accounts at once. Let's get that shit.
Go.
Let's make it go triple platinum, baby. Heavy Lies the Head is going to the moon. Everybody, invest your shit coins while you can.
Hello, Shu. Yeah.
Hello,
We're counting on you guys. Counting on you.
We're counting on you. We're counting on you. Get us up there. But thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Had a great time today.
That was great. Thank you for joining on the after party. Yeah. All right. Well, see you guys on the streaming platforms. Listen to it a lot.
See you on the streaming platforms.
See ya, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.